Hello, Elaine here with Sweet Stampin', and in this video I'm going to show you how to make this expanding card with the Perennial Lavender Suite. This is my expanding card that I made with the Perennial Lavender Suite. This suite is a mega suite because it has two bundles. We have the Perennial Postage bundle and the Painted Lavender bundle. The Perennial Postage has sentiments, plus these postage stamp-like dies. And then the Painted Lavender has all of these lovely flower images and some butterflies, and then dies to cut them out and some extra dies. The suite also includes this gorgeous Perennial Lavender Designer Series paper with crumb cake backgrounds, and then pretty much all the purple colors and purple leaves. And this is my cat Pepper. She's joining us today for some exploratory paper trash bin diving. And we have this lovely purple and these really pretty watercolor designs. And last but not least, the suite has these beautiful purple gems, which I love so much, in Highland Heather, Gorgeous Grape, and Blackberry Bliss, and these gorgeous, gorgeous butterflies. So I'm gonna do a little bit of blending. I'm gonna grab a sheet of these butterflies and a scrap piece of paper, and I'm gonna start with some fresh freesia here. And I'm just gonna kind of do the middles of the butterflies with the fresh freesia. For like the body of the butterfly. Next, I'm gonna add a little bit of Highland Heather right next to the fresh freesia. And then I'm gonna do a little bit of Gorgeous Grape on the edges here. All right, now we can pop all of these gorgeous butterflies out, and look how pretty they came out with all of the blending brush coloring. So this card is created with inspiration from a swap card that I received. The swap card was in metric measurements, so I decided to create my own template with imperial measurements. So this is 10 1/4 by 5 1/2, and we're gonna score really simple and do 1 1/2, 3, 4 1/2, and 6. So each section is 1 1/2 inches wide. And then I cut at 1 3/4 in, and then 3 3/4 in. 5 1/2 is kind of a hard measurement to divide into 3. So I just decided to do 1 3/4 from each side. And that creates the little small area right there. And then it just all folds into like an accordion fold. So I'm calling it an expanding card. And then you can add whatever piece you want in the front here. So I added a circle in the back, and then one of the stylish shape largest circles in the front as well. But I started off with the Designer Series paper. So I've scored everything here, 1 1/2, 3, 4 1/2, and 6. And now I'm going to do the 2 cuts. So I'm gonna go 1 3/4. I'm gonna start at the first score line and go to the third score line. And then I'm gonna move this down to 3 3/4. And then I'm just gonna go back up to the first score line. And that's what creates our little notch. So now we're just going to fold and score, and we'll do the correct way in just a moment. So now we will pop this middle one out and keep the other two in. And that's how we get our base here. And then I just like to kind of go over this spot a little bit here since, so now I'm gonna add this piece of designer series paper to the inside. It has this really lovely purple. It's really hard with this paper for me to choose which side to use because all the sides are beautiful. And now I've used one sheet of DSP to cut all 4 pieces here. And I'm gonna adhere the first and last piece, and then I'm going to cut these into sections and adhere those pieces. So for these 2 pieces, I'm going to cut them both, since this is 1 3/4, at 1 5/8 first. So I have 1 1/2 and then 1 5/8 right here. And you just want to double check that because you're cutting pieces that are difficult to replace since they line up 4 in a row. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this side. I'm going to cut the 1 5/8 because the center is wider or longer. Now for this piece here, this is 2 inches. So I'm going to cut this at 1 7/8 because I do want this piece to go here in the middle. And then I'll cut this one as 1 5/8 like the first one. Then for this one here, since this is going to be covered up by our circle, I'm just going to cut the 1 5/8 inch, and then I will use this for another card. And so now I will adhere all of these pieces on. So I'm going to use this sentiment from the Perennial postage to stamp right in the middle here. And then I'm going to stamp some of these leaves here on the bottom and the side. And then I'll do some more in Shaded Spruce. The first color was Lost Lagoon. Now I'm going to just roll this glue dot to make it smaller. And then I'm going to use it to attach one of the butterflies that I've colored. So about right there. So now I'm going to stamp the butterflies in Highland Heather, and then I have a Gorgeous Grape sponge dauber that I'm going to use to just ink the edges of the butterfly so you can get this really pretty ombre effect here. And then I'm going to stamp this flower in Fresh Freesia. And then I also have a Highland Heather sponge dauber that I'm just going to add ink just like randomly. And then I'm going to use the Gorgeous Grape to do some of the edges of the flowers. And then I'm going to stamp that to get a really pretty multicolored flower look here. And so I've already cut out 3 of those and the butterflies. And I'm just going to stamp this thank you from the Timeless Arrangements stamp set. And then I can cut that out with one of the postage dies. So I'm going to add this really pretty circle that we've created to the inside of the card, and I'm just going to put it on dimensionals and center it. Next, I'm going to fold this over and just add 2 dimensionals to this little piece right here. And this is the Highland Heather, and I'm going to lay this right on top of the white. So I've cut out these flowers from the dies, and I'm just going to trim off some of the bottoms. Now I'm just going to glue some of these leaves on with liquid glue. And last of all, I'm just going to add some of these really gorgeous purple gems. And that is my beautiful expanding perennial lavender card. Get a free card kit when you place a $35 order using my current host code. Just email me and let me know that you would like this perennial lavender kit. You have until February 2nd to place your order, and then the kit will no longer be available.